outside world just assumes they get every great player, they win every game basically. How do you keep an edge when individually, like anybody can answer that. How do you guys keep your edge? Tom Brady's a great example. What has he won, 6 Super Bowls? And he still looks in the mirror and he sees in the 6th round, the New England Patriots select Tom Brady. So he still sees that guy, which I think is incredible. How does Bama or you guys individually, how do you keep your edge?
I think it's my roots.
Really?
Kind of from where I started.
Yeah.
From even in high school, like I wasn't always like the big person people see now. Like people.
Really?
I used to be a real skinny, linky dude, play basketball and football, and then
get out.
A lot of times, like my sophomore year in my area, a lot of people used to talk about, oh, you're not gonna be able to play DN. You're gonna probably end up having to play safety. Like I remember, There was an article before that people was telling me I was gonna have to be a safety and stuff like that. So from that point on, I always had that chip on my shoulder.
Okay.
Like people, they don't think I'm capable of what I know I'm capable of.
Yeah.
So even, like I had videos of back in sophomore, junior year high school where I'm going against way bigger linemen than me. And it's just the fact that I was a smaller guy, like probably about 200 pounds going against 300 pound linemen. But I'm putting them on their ass.
Right.
And I was like, you know what I'm saying? You don't gotta be big to play my position.
So now
I'm big, so like.
But you're still.
Mentally, I still got that kind of like, I gotta show you that, you know what I'm saying? It ain't always been this way.
You think you always just be that guy? That's how you'll be wired?
The people I surround myself with, I don't surround myself with people that'll kind of just kiss my ass.
Yeah.
Kinda, oh, you know what I'm saying?
They're real with you.
Yeah, I got people around me that's like, you still, pardon my language, but you still some
Right.
They'll just say that just to say that.
I'll remind you.
Yeah, people like him, for real. You think that's cool? Like, you think that's good? And
yeah.
It's just, even me and Tua, like I'll chip away at Tua. Like if he feel like getting like, you know what I'm saying, he on the road, I'm gonna say just even if it's off the wall, like I know he having a good day, I'm gonna say something like, you still not this.
Right,
just
right,
to say it.
right. Competitive.
Yeah.
That's good, that's healthy.
Yeah.
How do you keep your edge?
Like,
because the whole world's telling you you're the greatest ever.
Well, yeah, I think it's the same thing, you know, but I mean, aside from just my roots, I'd say my faith, my family. I think a lot of those things play a key factor into who I am today and, you know, why I do things the way I do things, or, you know, why I go about, doing them the way I do. So, I think it's the same for me, you know, it's the people I surround myself with as well. But, you know, aside from just the people I surround myself with, like I said before, I think it's always good to just continue to create relationships with guys on the team, because, you know, then you earn a lot of respect because you've created that relationship. So when you do go out on the field, you know, you're able to talk to someone like T. Lou, you know, he's able to get it at your face, you're able to get with him, like get in his face, and there's just a level of respect, you know, once it's done, it's done. Absolutely. You know, and then you just move forward from there.
Does that game drive you guys? You ever think about it? It's easy to say no, it's behind us, but.
I think about all our losses.
Yeah, I haven't forgotten any games lost.
Yeah, I'd say, you know, you come to a place like this where you don't lose as much.
Yeah.
I think all those losses, they definitely stick with you more than any of the wins, you know, that you've had. And, you know, I think that the only reason, you know, like keeping your edge is so big here is because guys before you that have come, you know, they hold you to that standard. And you remember when you were a freshman and you came in, like for him, he was behind guys like Ryan Anderson. All these guys, you know.
Dogs. And big time, Ryan Anderson.
Yeah, you know, and then, you know, you have guys like Reuben Foster on the defense. Just guys who are leaders that could, you know, kind of set the standard and set the stage for guys like T. Lou to come up and kind of do the same for, the next wave of guys. And so I think that's why keeping your edge is so important, because you're held to a standard here, you know, and it's consistent. It's every single day. You know, once you step foot in here, there's a standard that you got to go and hold yourself, you know, to. And so that's why accountability for one another as well as each other is big.
Everybody hears about Coach Saban, but all they see is what Coach portrays on the sideline and standing at the podium. I've gotten to know him really well since he was at Michigan State and LSU. He and I have just had a friendship. So I know the real coach, but why don't you guys talk about just what it was like before you went to Alabama, what your perception was like, and then what it's like to actually play for him.
It flipped so fast my freshman year. Like I remember coming on a recruiting visit and being like, I'm losing my mind. It was Coach Saban because I didn't get, wasn't recruited incredibly heavily until like my senior year. So I was losing my mind. It's Coach Saban. And then if you fast forward a year later, like I remember being in practice and running some mesh concept and picking the crap out of Ruben and him screaming at me, me being like, whatever. And then like I walk around, I was like, Nick Saban just screamed at me and I didn't think anything of it anymore. Like,
Great, I've arrived.
Exactly. But it's, in a sense, like it's hard. Like I got to step back and be like, I'm playing for the greatest college football coach of all time. Like,
Of all time.
It's a balance, and I really got to try and keep in check every day.
Yeah,
So
that's good
appreciate
perspective. Yeah. What about you guys?
I think it's just a matter of, like, for me, I kind of gradually, like Coach Saban more and more because it was like, that's one coach that you know he's not going to kiss your ass and kind of tell you how good you are, no matter how much everybody else kind of praises you and stuff like that. Like, he's that one guy that just, he's like that one guy that kind of just always, you know what I'm saying, keeps you humble and even if you make a big play, like I could make a big play, and you're not gonna hear no. Oh,
I was gonna say, does he give compliments?
You know what I'm saying? He might whisper it to you. But
Just a whisper.
But in meetings, he's not that type of guy. Like he'll say that's a good job by 2-4, but he's just gonna say it. Just if you watch the film in the defensive room, he's gonna kind of go about it. That's a good job by 2-4 over there. Next, and then you're gonna critique this part.
Right.
Like,
So it's real. It just kind of goes right over top.
But it just make you appreciate the fact that okay, he you know what I'm saying. The good stuff that you do is like it's expected. It's like you're not gonna. It's kind of like it's not. It's kind of like you know what I'm saying. Somebody giving you allowance for doing chores. It's like
Yeah.
Dude,
you're doing what you're supposed to do.
How much more do you learn from those mistakes? So I think that's what it harps on.
Yeah.
Like we double team. Our double team's great, like fantastic. But you learn so much more from. I can correct this and make you better. Whereas if you did that correctly, then me patting you on the back is not going to.
No, it's interesting though, because if you guys think about it, a lot of the people watching, whether it's their employer or anybody that's above them, we kind of live in a culture where people need to be reinforced. They need complimented. They need to be told, "You're doing a great job, Miller. Keep it up." And here, you know, it's very different from I think what most people, what their lives are like, and maybe how they parent. So I think it's cool that you guys not only have adjusted to it, it sounds like you guys kind of appreciate it.
Yeah, I appreciate it because I feel like that's kind of like where our generation is headed to. Kind of like everybody kind of wants to get praised for what they're supposed to do.
For sure. Yeah, well, around here that's not the case.
That soft stuff, these guys don't like that soft stuff.
Because I'm like, even with young guys, it's like they'll do their assignment and they're like, hey, how did I do on that? I'm like, so you just want me to say, oh, you did a good job. Like you did what you were supposed to do, good job. Now next play.
Right. What's it like being a student here? Like no one really ever talks about you guys going to class or like hanging out. Like do you get time to just hang? I know when I played at Ohio State, it was very regimented and it seems like you're always at the facility and you'd see people looking like they're having fun and you're like, man, that looks like that's fun. But you didn't really get to participate. What about for you guys? Like, do you ever get a chance to just hang out a little bit on the campus?
It's rarely.
It's pretty regimented. We get our time here and there, especially if we're smart with it. With school, I mean, that obviously plays a big part when you're going to study hall. In season, obviously, time's a lot less. But in the spring, I say you get a little time here and there.
Spring's probably the best.
Spring's time. In the fall, there's no way. But
yeah, fall's impossible. Winter, you guys do 6 a.m., so maybe you have some afternoons.
Still do it.
What about you? Can you be just hang out, be a student? It's got
a normal student?
Honestly, what's it like? Do people bother you?
No one knows me, all right.
So. No, come on, for real. For real. Do they bother you?
Yeah. What is it? It's 10 o'clock. We just got done with a two-a-day, and some dude comes running up to Tua with a jersey. And I'm like, dude, how long have you been waiting outside?
Right.
This kid's just been out there, like, waiting with a jersey. Like, Tua, you signed my jersey, you signed my jersey.
Students?
Yeah. Like, dude, it's 10 o'clock. I know you got better stuff to do.
And they're probably doing this, too, where they're, like, videotaping you. They do.
Tua.
Oh, my God.
Do they do that?
Me and him, we used to have a class together. We'll be walking away, and he'll be like, you saw that? Like,
Yeah.
Like I don't see that.
Wouldn't you rather they just came over and said, "Hey, do you mind if I get a quick picture?" And you'd be like, "Yeah, sure, no problem." But the sneaky like stealth bomber that's like doing this.
You never see that.
I wouldn't mind, but usually like, you know, if they come up to me or whatnot, like I'd probably like introduce like, oh, hey, you know, but this is my good friend, or like just like things
you don't
like that.
individual attention. Like you rather deflect, right?
Well, I feel like, because
they deserve, in your mind, they deserve it as much as you.
Oh no, they deserve it more than I do. Yeah.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
I mean, I'm out
so
there
when
with
everyone's
them.
like this, you're like uncomfortable with it.
Oh yeah, because you see how hard these guys work. You know, the O-line works, and they're butting heads, and all you got to do is drop back. You don't even get touched. You're just throwing the ball, really.
Yeah.
And that's all you're really doing. Just knowing situational awareness. I mean, that's really all you do. And then, you know, when it comes time to games, you get so much more praise than any of these guys do. But you don't put in as much work, I guess. I mean, I wouldn't say as much work, but, you know, the kind of work that they put in is totally different. They're physical and mental. We're more mental, you know?
Sure.
It's just totally different.
What about girls? Like, I have 4 boys, and I have 3 teenagers. To me, girls can become a big distraction to like what needs to be done. So to me, the nemesis would be girls.
That's a great question.
And YouTube. You guys, you guys love to watch like YouTube guys. Am I right? Am I right?
You're right.
How do you control the urges of those kind of things, or do you not control it? They're killing you, man.
Yeah, it's a self-discipline thing. You get along like a lot of these freshmen. You're a freshman in college, and kind of depends on what you grow up and what you believe and why you believe it. So you get some people that'll run this way and other people that'll run this way. It just kind of depends on what you're looking for. What'd you come here for? Did you come here for girls and hanging out, or did you come here to play football? What's your favorite college game day experience? Like your favorite place, you're like that stadium, those fans, like that was it.
Well, see, the stadium, because we were talking earlier, I call a game at night. I do game day in the morning.
You say you love it.
Game day for me this is my 24th year doing it. Like Eugene, Oregon is unbelievable because we're out there, it's 6 a.m., the show comes on, and there's 15,000 people.
Is it not cold over there?
Huh?
Is it not cold in Oregon?
It'll get like in the 50s. You know, it's not freezing. Like some places you go. We went to Fargo, North Dakota.
Oh my God! Ohio State is cold over there.
It can be in November. Ohio State, Michigan. It is freezing.
No way, I won't do that.
Ohio State versus Michigan as
Was it in Ann Arbor or Columbus?
No, it was at Columbus.
That was our senior year. I almost went to that one.
I was committed there. I went there. I was so cold. That was
right. Is that what made you say I'm out?
Nah, that didn't make me say I was out. But
yeah,
that was close.
That was definitely like, damn, this is colder than DC. Like, am I sure I really want to do this?
I'm glad you didn't go there.
DC's pretty cold. That's a lot of snow.
I'm glad you didn't go there.
Yeah, but I don't know. There's so many great. I love coming to the SEC because you guys know. I mean, the fan base is the fan base is it's passion. It's hard for you guys to see because you don't, well, I guess in recruiting maybe you got a chance to get around and see it, but it's just a different, like you go to LSU.
Yeah.
My freshman
that bus ride
at LSU in Death Valley. Woo!
I'm talking about we seeing people flip the bird at us, move us.
That was
like, this is crazy.
But the noise in there.
I'll never forget walking on the field, the smoke, LSU, 8 p.m., them singing.
Isn't that hyped?
And then that was Jamal Adams and all them, our freshmen, that defense. And we came in, woo, and we won like 10-0.
Hey, so what was the process of like the NCAA games? So would you have to do voice recordings for every team?
Yeah. So we would sit there for an entire week down in Orlando, Florida at EA Sports. And it was me and Lee Corso and Brad Nessler, and we would just we would just we would just do the game. They gave us first couple years. They gave us a huge notebook to go through, and basically thought of every scenario that might happen in a football game, and we tried to come up with like 3 or 4 lines for each scenario. But you're reading it, so it didn't really sound authentic. And their whole goal with these games, the more it became high def and PS3 and PS4, was to make it more and more real, like you're watching at home. So what they did next was they just turned the video game on and let it play, and we called the game like we would call a game. And so that ended up becoming the best quality of any of the audio that we did. But man, you guys were young. I mean, this was 5 years ago, I think was the last.
NCAA 06, best one. I'll argue that.
But yeah, 06?
NCAA 06.
Why 06?
It was before they they slowed the game down.
Yeah.
And the spin move was unreal.
Well, it was easier to control before
the
they got
original Xbox.
Yes.
There wasn't like all the crazy moves.
Yeah.
My favorite one was like 04.
Yeah.
Bro, bro, you have like boys like Reggie Bush.
Yeah.
That line.
Yeah,
Toss it to Reggie.
But if you were an actual,
career mode.
if you played it a lot, you could control, and there was only like 3 buttons. Like now you got all these different buttons and
12
everything.
analog sticks.
Yeah.
I can't do that.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. But yeah, I hope that game comes back. I've never run into a player yet. It's like I never want that. I need my money.
Yeah.
I don't. It's like every player wants the game to come
Yeah,
back.
I ain't gonna lie.
There's no way.
You know? I
Oh,
mean,
man.
so hopefully it'll come back one day.
Well done.
Thank you guys.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
Well done.
Thanks, bro.